Hi everyone and welcome to EVE Talk, a weekly look at the EVE Online market. Well, weekly when I don't have 2 weeks of vacation, that is. I'm your host, delonewolf, and we'll take a look at the EVE Online markets after 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks actually, if you count from the previous episode. And I'm pretty curious to see how things have changed. From what I remember, last time the minerals were holding up pretty well, and the tech tree market was had in a downtrend. So I'm curious to see how those markets have been evolving for now. So let's have a quick look here. I did have an EVE Online crash, so I had to put some items back into my quick bar, but I think I've got most of them. So let's start with the usual, some of the minerals. Titanium, do we have a decent chart? Still holding at around 6 ISK. And let's have a look at price, what they're going for right here in Jita, which is 614 for the sellers, and yeah, we get some buyers at 606. So yeah, still holding up above 6 ISK. Pyrite is next. I'll have a quick look at the prices first for that one. 1306, 1289. Yeah, still holding up, as you can see. This is a 3-month chart, and at least for the second half of it, prices have been fluctuating normally, but holding up quite well. Let's have a look at Mexalon. Pretty much the same thing, looks pretty flat still. Yeah, just above 50, even 62.30, 61.70. Yep, minerals are holding up very nicely. They fluctuate a little bit up and down with the market, but there's very little margin. So these are the normal supply and demand forces at work, and it looks like, I guess, mining supplies have stabilized quite a bit since Hulkageddon, which I think will have been the last major movement in the mineral market. Let's see, next up I'll have a look at the Tengu for the Tech Tree market. Tengu's for sale at 205. Interesting, 205 million for Tengu's. Buy orders 199 million. So that looks like a reverse of the trend, and yep, it's indeed shown on the graph that at the end of August we had a point. It never went really below 200 million, not even below 205 million, but really the downtrend was broken right here at the end of August, and then right now slight uptick, followed again by some more correction, but that could just be a market reaction. This is a pretty interesting chart if you know a bit more about trading. I don't know that much about it, but I do know that this double top is generally pretty interesting from a market perspective. So if you know a bit more about that, yeah, Tech Tree market could be interesting at the moment, I think. Personal interest, the Talos, yeah, slightly on a downward trend since almost 2 months here. Still around 80 million. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 81,750, something like that for the sellers, and 76 million for the buy order. So decent margin and decent price, still holding up, 80 million, something like that. So the more I can research my my BPO, the more profit I'm still making on that. Very nice. I was somewhat interested in the Galente fuel block, which is on, whoa, a serious downtrend. Yeah, so it looks like PI production is actually going up. I would say if the fuel blocks are going down in general, this will mean that either ice mining has been the bottleneck and that's being solved now. This is a possibility. The other possibility is that overall activity in EVE Online is increasing, and thus planetary interaction supplies are increasing as well. And we need probably a combination of, we're probably seeing a combination of both here that caused this pretty massive downtrend in fuel blocks. 21 ISK to below 14. That's 1/3 of the price in 2 months. That's a significant move there, I would say. It's going to be interesting to see if Dust 514 changes anything to this trend. But yeah, for the fuel blocks, I had started producing some. I think it was late June, something like that, when they were very high. So that seemed like a good idea. But obviously the efficiency of my PI is taking a serious nosedive here. Luckily we have some plans to check out POSes when the new changes come out, so all the production I'm making will still be useful at some point for us. Let's have a look at a general ship, the Drake, one of the most popular ships in EVE Online. It's known a slight downtrend at the end of August here and seems to be stabilizing now a bit lower. 47.5 million for the sellers, 46.5 for the buyers, so very little margin on the Drake. That looks like another supply-demand market, and it looks like it has settled from above 50 million a little bit lower, so maybe 4 million less than what it was before I left on a vacation. So maybe some general deflation in some of the Tech 1 ships. Interesting stuff. And one ship, the Omen, was going to have a big change in the upcoming winter expansion with the ship rebalancing. Let's see if that has had any influence here. Maybe a slight uptick in some of the data points. It's been below 6 million and right now prices are at 7.5 million. So yeah, it could be that the dev block will mean that some of the cruiser and Tech 1 frigate prices will be going up, ramping up towards the winter expansion, because of all the speculation that wow, the Omen might become a lot better all of a sudden, or some other cruiser might become the flavor of the moment ship. So yeah, those are markets to look at if you're a trader, I think. And finally, and the most important one, of course, the Plex. 520 million ISK for one Plex, 500 million buy orders. That's significant. I think that's a serious uptrend. Yep, there we go. The chart definitely does show that. A serious uptick even in the last few weeks. And I think it's going to continue all the way towards the expansion, you know. There might be some pullbacks, you know, when you see a serious uptick of what would that be more than 10 million from September 9th. Yeah, there might be a slight correction in there, but I think the general trend will still be up for the Plexus. Let's quickly take the 1 year chart there. Yeah, we've had, well, 500 million for the green line, so we're already above what the previous one was right there in late April, which was that the previous expansion could be. And then right here in December, you can see if you go at right one chart, it's a serious uptrend. If you go at the very start of the chart, serious uptrend up towards December, which is actually interestingly a bit before the previous expansion. So a lot of speculation, I think, on increased demand, and then at one point these speculators decide it's time to dump them to try and sell Plex for very high price for new people coming in just ahead of the expansion to check it out again. And I think we're going to see a similar graph towards December with of course the very small pullbacks once in a while. But yeah, I'd say my tip, if you had followed it at the beginning of August or mid-August to buy a couple Plex, yeah, I think you're looking pretty good if you did that. Yeah, that's it. General activity, of course, is also often measured by the Plex, which seems to be increasing. So I think very good news in general for EVE Online in general. Of course, not for those people that want to fund their EVE Online through Plex. Yeah, you're already going to have to drop over 500 million, and I think that's going to be close to the new bottom, to be honest. Anyways, that's it for this episode of EVE Talk, and I will see you guys next time.